Good morning, it's a Tuesday. Hope you guys had a fantastic night. Rokani David is here to obviously give you your morning. Is it called? It's called a soothie, right? Your morning tech or your morning tea as far as the latest news and information is concerned. Strictly Arsenal. I think it has been a while since I last brought you a story that only contained the team of Arsenal. But today, we're obviously talking Arsenal, and it's Emily Smith-Rowe, Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, Kalvin Phillips, and Kyle Walker, all attached to the side of Arsenal. So that's why I need you to sit down, relax and float, get your cup of tea, and let's get this going. We thank God for the gift of life, and for the Muslims, Barak Lahu Fikum, and may everyone really take the biggest step of his life. You know, in prospering through the blessings of God and Allah. That is it. So it's really great to have you in here for you, and smash the like button close to 300 times, and don't forget to subscribe if you're watching us for the very first time, because we want to hit 18,000 subscribers before the end of this month. That is it. So let's keep going and let's keep pushing to see it that things get where they are going. We're left with like 300 subscribers to hit 8,000 subscribers. So guys, let's make it happen, because I know where you guys are, nothing can be stopped, right? You are really the people behind my success, and the Lord God is using you. Allah is using you to push this channel to the world. Rokani David, or RD, is my name. Now, let's start it off with a story coming in from Darren Bent. Now, all along I've been telling you that certain people are talking about things that they know. You get? Before we go any further, do you know a person who plays as a number 10 of Arsenal? A person who plays as a number 10 of Arsenal is Martin Odegaard, right? And someone is referring to Kai Havertz as a person who plays the number 10 of Arsenal. So that's why sometimes when you are listening to these people, you need obviously to really get to know that they're having certain agendas they are trying to push. Maybe it was a slip of a tongue, but Kai Havertz doesn't play as a number 10 for the side of Arsenal. He plays as a number 8, right? Now, Darren Bent, speaking on Emily Smith-Rowe, he was on TalkSport. He said, you should hear the ovation whenever he comes on at the Emirates. They love him. I'll be honest, I would rather see him play right now in the number 10 role anywhere than Kai Havertz. Now, one thing I want to first address is that Kai Havertz doesn't play in the number 10 role at Arsenal. The person that plays in that role is Martin Odegaard, and there is no way Emily Smith-Rowe can displace him. But I think it was just a slip of the tongue, and he made what we call the number 8 role, that he would rather see Emily Smith-Rowe start ahead of Kai Havertz in the midfield three of Declan Rice, Declan Rice, Odegaard, and Emily Smith-Rowe. I think that's what he really meant. So let's go and really dissect or pick out the bones in that narrative. Now, I understand Emily Smith-Rowe can play as a number 10, he can play as a number 8, you know, in the midfield, meaning that he can play very well into that position of Kai Havertz. But the problem is simple. He has been suffering from that injury that he faced last year, and it kept him out for a very long time. You know, Arteta is an admirer of Emily Smith-Rowe. He loves the lad a lot, because if he never loved him, he would have gone ahead to make that swap for him with Mykhailo Mudryk, because Mykhailo Mudryk would have been a very influential player at Arsenal this season if at all Arsenal went in for that offer from Chelsea. Because look, when Arsenal doesn't have Martinelli or Leandro Trossard, you see to it that the team is obviously struggling, you know, especially off the left attacking side of the midfield. You saw it well when Trossard got an injury in the game of Man City, and when Martinelli came up and the lift-up read was given to the team. So all I want to let you know is simple. This guy is really one of a kind, and he's loved, he's talented, and Arsenal fans love him a lot. And the reason as to why they love him a lot is really on everybody's fingertips. It's because of him being an academy graduate. They hold the same love for Bukayo Saka, right? Reece Nelson, such players, because they've been part of the academy of Arsenal. So, Arteta not accepting that swap to happen in between Arsenal and Chelsea for Emile Smith-Rowe and Mikhailo Modric respectively, it shows you exactly that he believes in the player that is obviously going to become good. And I also understand that when he comes good, he's going to be one of the midfield options that Arteta is going to be having, especially in the attacking areas of the midfield and in the central midfield. In the attacking areas, he can play as a left attacking midfielder or a left forward, right? And in the central midfield, he can play into the Kai Havertz role. He can also play into the Martin Odegaard role. But right now, I don't believe that Emile Smith-Rowe is ready to take over Kai Havertz in that midfield, because if you take off Kai Havertz, you would rather get Jorginho play into the central midfield and Declan Rice play into the Kai Havertz role, all Partey in the CDM role and Declan Rice into that role, because you cannot just drop in a player who has not yet gone ahead to hit his levels and drop him into the field of play. All is for Emile Smith-Rowe to work hard and prove Mikel Arteta that I'm going or I'm ready to get into your team. That is it. There is nothing else that is going to get Emile Smith-Rowe into that team apart from him working hard to obviously convince the manager that I'm 100% ready to get going into your team. That is it. And Arteta, however much he bought Kai Havertz for 70 million plus, it won't really stop him from benching him for Emile Smith-Rowe. If at all Emile Smith-Rowe comes good, Emile Smith-Rowe has really a very, 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 very good chance and a very huge backing at the club of Arsenal, because if he benches Kai Havertz for Emile Smith-Rowe, the board of Arsenal will get the best commendations, because this is a player coming in from the academy, and having an era where you're having close to 4 players coming through into your team from the academy, that is really, really great. Emile Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka, Nketiah and Reece Nelson, that is obviously one of the most biggest successes in academy football, because it's said that if at all you get only one player in an entire phase of an academy rollout, then you are successful. That is it, because that begins at the age of 8, so it takes a decade to get one out of the 20-30 players that we're gonna hate obviously mold, so if Arsenal now happens to be having 4 players that can obviously compete for positions at the team of Arsenal, that is a very huge competition. That's why if Emile Smith-Rowe comes good and picks up to the form he deserves to be, it's going to be very easy for Mikel Arteta to drop Kai Havertz and Emile Smith-Rowe gets into that pitch. So it's up to Emile Smith-Rowe to work hard and prove to the manager that he's ready to obviously dislodge Kai Havertz in that role. But for the chances that Arteta is going to hate to give him, Emile Smith-Rowe has gone ahead to show us that he's obviously coming good. You saw him play in the game of PSV. He had some minutes in the game of RC Lons. He played in the game of Bournemouth. Which other match? There is another match that he played in. The match of the FA Cup. He played some good 70 minutes in his legs against Brentford, where Arsenal knocked out Brentford, courtesy of that Reece Nelson goal. So it shows you that he still has another chance. That I think there is a game they're going to play away at West Ham. He's going to get some minutes, and This one of Chelsea, I doubt whether he's going to get some minutes, but it will depend on how he has been training with Mikel Arteta. So, Emily Smith-Rowe over Kai Havertz, I think it can happen. It can happen, but it depends on how Emily Smith-Rowe enrolls into his fitness levels, all match fitness levels, and obviously get back to the levels we will remember him at in the season of 2021-2022, where he hit the ground running and scored close to 11 goals in a position where he was not obviously used to playing. That is the left forward position at Arsenal. So that is it, and that's what my thought was about Emily Smith-Rowe over Kai Havertz, you know. But I think it's possible. It's possible if at all the player adds in more engine or more hard work onto his job. Now, we go to Kalvin Phillips. Not Kalvin Phillips. We'll talk about Declan Rice. Today, England is playing Italy. I think it's going to be at Wembley. The first game was played away. Was played away in Italy. And I think they're going to play this one at Wembley. It's England versus Italy. And we've been told by Sammy McBall, Tier 1 journalist for the Daily Mail, that Kalvin Phillips is in line to play in midfield for England alongside Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham versus Italy. Phil Foden is hopeful of returning to Gareth Bale's starting 11, while Kyle Walker is also set to play. Now, I want to talk about one player in particular who is going to be partnered with Declan Rice. That is Kalvin Phillips. It's illegal to see to it that a manager of a national team is giving a player minutes who is not being played at his club. Even in the most important game that Man City played against Arsenal, and they are lacking their best CDM, that is Rodri, Kalvin Phillips couldn't come close. You know, that is what makes it funny. So I wonder why it's very easy for a team like England to associate with such a manager who wants to give a player who is not getting ample playing time and get him on the field of play. That is Kalvin Phillips. That is really unforgivable, and it's actually illegal, because you can't come out and obviously not give players like Ward-Prowse a chance to come and play if they've been playing game in, game out and playing very well. So it's really disheartening that a manager is doing that. And when I look at Jordan Henderson also coming through in the mix, when he obviously gave us a reason as to why he never called Balogun for the English national team engagement, because he was playing for League One, and that league is nowhere near the levels of the Premier League for him to supersede the likes of Ivan Toney, Oli Watkins, and so on and so forth. And he goes on and brings on a player from Saudi Arabia into the team of England. That is really very, very, very uncalled for. So that's why you saw to it. That's why you saw to it that very many people who support the English national team are calling in for a better manager at the club of England. At the national team of England, because this man is doing things that are really unforgivable. The same applies to Harry Maguire. He's not getting playing time at Man United. Levi Colwill played game in, game out at Chelsea. Why don't you start him alongside John Stones, you know, or any other central midfielder? Mark Gahey is getting more playing time than Harry Maguire, but why does Harry Maguire play ahead of that player? So all those are red flags on the job of Gareth Southgate. And for Declan Rice, it's a tick for him to start. We all know that he has gone ahead. It obviously hit the ground running at Arsenal and is proving some of the doubters wrong. Not on his quality, because for me, I don't doubt on his quality. My doubts are all over what people say about him, that he's really a special player. Yet to me, I don't believe that he's really a special player. He's a player who masters the basics, but he's not that special player that we're going to talk about. Rodri, Casemiro, even Thomas Partey, you know. So all I want to let you know is that that is something bad that Gareth Southgate is doing, and he needs to obviously check his cards, because if he doesn't play them right, I don't think he's going to survive the Euros. That is it. So that is it coming in from England. And talking about Kyle Walker, he had a feud with the former set-piece coach of Man City, who is now at us, known as Nicolas Jover. And this is what he had to say about the feud they had after the game where Man City lost by 1 goal 0 at the Emirates. He says, I don't like losing. A couple of matches before, Nico, who worked for Man City, he didn't want to shake hands when we beat them. When we lost, he wanted to shake my hand, and I did not take it lightly. Simple as that. So, these players know Nicolas Jover because they used to train with him. Now, for the games they've been really losing, he never wanted to obviously shake hands with Kalvin Phillips. And what was the reason for him coming in through and presenting his hand for a handshake or for shake with Kalvin Phillips? So, this is what pissed off Kalvin Phillips and said, I'm not going to shake your hand. The same applies to Erling Haaland, because you are not doing this on sporting merit or for sporting reasons. When we beat you, you ignore our handshake. So what is the meaning of us shaking hands with you when you've gone ahead to beat us? Yet, for us, for the number of times we're going ahead to beat you, you've not gone ahead to obviously shake hands. I mean, it's us knowing each other, but that human nature in you couldn't spike out of you when we beat you. And I think he has a point. So guys, you've been asking yourself as to why there was a ruckus in between Haaland, Kyle Walker, and the set piece coach of Arsenal, that is Nicolas Jover, after that encounter at Emirates that ended 1-0 in favor of Arsenal. The answer has been given to us by Kyle Walker. So guys, your thoughts on Emile Smith-Rowe over Kai Havertz? Do you think Emile Smith-Rowe should start over Kai Havertz? Your thoughts are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Declan Rice playing alongside Kalvin Phillips? Don't you think it's obviously going to affect his game as they play against Italy? I know he's a very good player, that is Kalvin Phillips, but he's lacking enough playing time. And lastly, what do you make about the ruckus reason given by Kyle Walker? May the living to God bless you abundantly. We thank God for the gift of life, and may Allah bless the Muslims abundantly. And Barakallahu fikum. See you when you see me. I'm out.